Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where I'm getting the microphone in front of me, unlike last time, because maybe it might be nice to hear me, unless you're watching with the mute button on. It takes all types, and eccentrics are absolutely catered for. So today I want to review the first footage, of the long-awaited and highly anticipated Best of All Worlds tour, which is a Sammy Hagar tour in name, but in reality, it's functioning as the long overdue tribute to Eddie Van Halen. We all know about the various dramas that happened between his tragic death in 2020 and today. Alex Van Halen obviously sold all of his drums just recently and all of his other ancillary touring equipment. So he is retired, I guess, without formally being retired, which isn't surprising. He deserves a happy, relaxed retirement. Wolf Van Halen is not really interested, so it would seem. And so Sammy and Michael Anthony, who have been flying the Van Halen flag on their own in one form or another for a long time now, decided to do what no one else would, and that's put together a tribute for Eddie. And they got Joe Satriani on guitar, who's long been mentioned, even long before this tour was announced, as a would-be superstar guitar player, not to step into Eddie's shoes, obviously, but to stand in Eddie's place and pay tribute to him. And then, of course, you've got Jason Bonham, who's been Sammy's regular drummer with his band The Circle for quite a few years now. And they're on tour. It all kicked off this week. And the first YouTube videos are in and on Twitter and every other place that you can imagine, or X rather. And well, here's my review. I think it's really, really good. Here are the pluses. One, really well rehearsed. And this wasn't entirely surprising because Sammy had been posting a lot of rehearsal videos for a while now. And so they're really tight. They really know the songs backwards and forwards. Obviously, Michael Anthony and Sammy Hagar know them like the back of their hand. Sammy wrote the lyrics, but the new guys, they've taken to it like a fish in water. So that's really good. They have an additional keyboard player who also does backing vocals. Apologies for forgetting his name. In fact, I'll just, since we're doing this one live, I'll just look it up and see. His name is Ray, R-A-I. Um, I'm going to screw this up. Fist let wait this the wait maybe, but he's the keyboard player in the band, which means that all of the keyboard parts that were very prominent on lots of Van Halen albums will be played live. No samples or sequencers, it will all be played live. So anyway, I've seen the videos that have been circulating on social media, and I think it's really good. So, just to recap the pluses, super well rehearsed all the way around. Two, I think that it's really good that Joe Satriani isn't trying to replicate Eddie Van Halen's solos note for note, but is instead playing it his way. And there's two reasons why this is important. One, no one can play Eddie Van Halen's parts the way Eddie could. You can't duplicate them. If you're a kid on YouTube trying to impress people, that's cool, sure. But when you're actually in a live concert environment, giving people an authentic, spontaneous experience, you don't want a legendary guitar player in his own right, like Joe, to be worrying about copying another master, another legend. We can argue. I mean, Eddie's obviously my favorite guitarist ever, but Joe Satriani's amazing. So it would be a bit patronizing to say you've got to play Eddie's parts. I think it would be an insult to Eddie's legacy and to Joe. What he's doing is a tasteful recreation of the songs in his own way. And I think that is musically valid, it's in good taste, and it's really entertaining to see what a different guitarist will do to interpret a piece that's already written. by Eddie in this case. Jason is playing really, really good, as good as I've ever seen him. A wonderful drummer. And today, which they're taking the day off, but tomorrow they're in a different town because the tour rolls on. Today is both Joe Satriani and Jason Bonham's birthday. They share a birthday, so how all the more fitting that we can do this video today and wish them a very happy birthday. Now, some people online have complained about some things about the videos that have emerged of this show because if Van Halen fans have one thing in common with their heroes, they love to fight and they love to bitch and they love the drama. So when they're not arguing about which lead singer was better, they're now arguing over the tour. And I honestly don't see where the complaints are coming from. I think maybe some of it is just the unconscious reality sinking in that Eddie isn't there anymore and that nothing is going to sound like Eddie but Eddie. That's why people loved him in his lifetime. That's why people continue to love his musical legacy because he was really unique. He changed so much about how the guitar was played, perceived, listened to. And without Eddie, well, that's why there is a tribute show. If not, maybe they would have been doing the kitchen sink tour, which was something that Eddie was planning in the years before he died, which was the mother of all reunions. So all of the lead singers, get Wolf involved, get Michael Anthony involved, have obviously Eddie and Alex and just have some fun. That sadly never happened. This is the best that we've got, and I think it's really, really good. Again, the band sounds really tight, and that isn't always easy on the first couple of nights of a tour. It sometimes takes maybe 5 gigs or so for some bands before they really start clicking on all cylinders, but I think that they've really, really got it. Now, another complaint is that maybe the songs don't have the same punch that they used to. And I think, again, there's an unconscious reason for that, which is quite a lot of the songs I've heard, they've switched the key signature. They've essentially they've lowered the pitch so that it makes it easier to sing without straining one's voice. And this is perfectly understandable. So many bands do this when they reach a certain age because the voice is one of the first things that as we get older that changes. Even if you've got great dexterity in your arms, fingers, legs, whatever, the voice does change. And especially if you've strained it by singing and screaming for so many years, when you're 76, which is how old Sammy Hagar is, it's going to be different. I mean, think about it. Sammy Hagar is only 5 years younger than Joe Biden, and you don't see him doing a Van Halen tribute show, but maybe that is what we need to bring the country and the world and the whole thing together. Who knows? But there's nothing wrong inherently with lowering the pitch, changing the key signature in order to make it so that you're singing in a lower pitch, because otherwise this kind of tour might not be possible. Now, when you're hearing it from the perspective of an audience member, it's not necessarily the first thing you notice, but the songs do hit you somewhat differently when you're used to hearing them over the years in the original pitch. So that might be a thing, but again, it's not really a big deal, I don't think. And apart from that, some people don't like the fact that Satriani doesn't really sound like Eddie, but I don't think he should. As I said, I think it's more of a tribute, more of an honor when you're doing it this way. Some are complaining that no one's as young as they used to be, but no one is. Some people are just complaining about a lack of energy where I'm not really seeing that. I think that it's perfectly energetic. Now, again, some of the footage might not be the best audio or video because an iPhone without a special microphone or whatever is only going to be so good. Certainly a lot better than the bootleg stuff that we had years ago. But I just think that some people like to complain. I think a lot of it is sort of reverse FOMO, the fear of missing out. They're saying, oh, well, I'm glad I didn't go. But I think people should go when the show comes to your town, assuming that you're living in one of the places that it does. Because so far I think it's really, really a good, fun, fitting tribute. And that's really what it's all about. the guys are having fun on stage. And I think the audience probably will be as well. So lighten up, stop complaining. The world's crazy enough as it is. This is one thing that they can't take away from us, which is that Van Halen music is fun, and two of the four people who made it are doing it along with two really good musicians who fit into the mix really, really well. Go out and enjoy it, and let's keep enjoying the videos too that people are posting up online. Like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Oh, and once again, happy birthday to Joe Satriani and Jason Bonham. Take care.